Welcome to Bold Talk series where creativity, leadership, ideas, innovation come together. My name is Epi Ludvik, and today I have a privilege to have a short one-on-one conversation with Michelle Vincent, CEO of Magnet Media. Michelle, great seeing you. Welcome to our Bold Talk series. How are you?
Great seeing you too, Epi. Feeling great today. Thank you so much for having me.
It was great to see you and great to have you back. Last time we had this conversation was probably like a year ago, so I thought it'd be nice to have this conversation again. There's some changes in your side too, so I thought it'd be really nice to have another great talk. So let's dive in with some of the things that you've been doing. So when you look back at the early days of your career, is there a specific moment when you first realized that storytelling could be more than a creative act, that it could actually change the way people think, act, or even connect?
There's definitely a specific moment. So I know you're aware of my background in tech, but my first role, my first job began at Google in 2007. And I happen to always know the trivia question around when the iPhone launched because it happened in that same year. The iPhone launched to consumers in 2007. And a few years after that, Google acquired YouTube. So it was in that journey and my early career in tech when storytelling actually became critical for my function. Our teams were trying to grow digital channels to help brands reach consumers where they were at. We were advising some of the world's largest companies and brand leaders. And in that journey, as technology was changing, it was through stories that we gradually helped them better understand the changing landscape of consumer behavior, from TVs to laptops and then to mobile phones, for how we spend our time and also how we consume content. I think when you see the different pictures of before and after, the announcement of a new pope, there were pictures from, many years prior with everybody just holding candles up in the dark. And then fast forward into the mobile phone era, you would see everybody holding their phones in the air. And so to that degree, we started to tell these stories about these moments that were changing the entire landscape.
Yeah. Yeah, and fast forward now with the advancement of the AI, what's next for the media? That's a big question, right?
I mean, yes, AI is changing everything right now, and it's moving so fast. It's hard to predict where things will land exactly because we've never seen the adoption from a consumer standpoint or business standpoint move as fast. I mean, I just mentioned the launch of the mobile phone. That you think about before that, just the introduction of the computer or any sort of medium has never moved as fast as we've seen when it comes to AI. I do believe that we'll continue to see an evolution in how we connect with each other. I think along with some of the, ethical implications and some of the bad actors out there as well. It will change how we make sure that we are validating, the information that we're receiving, the people we're connecting with. So we're going to continue to see a lot of changes, and they're really all going to be amplified, I believe, empowered by AI as a big part of that.
Yeah. I was talking to one of the guys and he's in a high tech AI agents marketplaces, and he was telling me that that fast forward we need to think about how we're not just marketing to the humans but how we're marketing to the to these AI agents, because an average person will have a number of agents, and these agents will do chores for us and even will go shopping for us on the online. So how we're going to get to that phase where now the market is not just directed towards people, but it's also directed to these agents. It's a really exciting, but it's also challenging times. I see it.
It is. I mean, we're already seeing the SEO industry get disrupted as people are starting to ask more brand-centric questions. I've heard AEO is the new
Yeah.
SEO because this technology is drafting from the information out there and serving it to people in ways that we just haven't seen before. Definitely correct. and that agentic solutions is going to change how we shop, how our time starts to evolve and become free. I mean, in a, I think, more optimistic world, we'll be able to focus our efforts on more meaningful and strategic work and connections. But at the same time, an entire industry may be born to ensure that the proper controls are in place as well. There have been headlines on some challenges, that early challenges that brands have been seeing. Will they be solved for? Absolutely. But it is something that is going to change every aspect of what we do. And in the younger generations, how they learn, how education is taught, what foundational learning looks like, everything will absolutely change. But so is the evolution of our time. Things are always changing.
Yeah. Yeah. Now with Magnet Media, you're now CEO of Magnet Media, blending data, AI, and creativity in a way few companies do. Can you recall a project where the numbers told you one thing, but your creative instinct told you another, and a decision you guys have to make to change the outcome?
Yes. So, I can't personally take credit for our best creative outcomes. I will sit at the table and brainstorm and exchange ideas. Our creative directors really do the hard work of pushing the creative, and pushing creative and thinking outside of the box is our responsibility every time. And it's not just creative instinct that drives when and how we're pushing at Magnet. The company started 25 years ago by our founder and executive director, Megan Cunningham. And in the early 2000s, the framework that we still use today, which consists of think, make, reach. Think about it as think for strategy, make for create the thing, and then reach for distribution. That has remained a powerful framework that drives results every time. So a lot of the pushing that happens creatively, and I think this is really important in any aspect of creative ideation, it should be data driven if you're trying to drive impact. And so when we start with strategy, there's an insane amount of data that can be collected. And AI, quite frankly, is really making the depth and breadth of the information that can be collected so much more robust. And that informs not only us, but our clients on these nuanced details that we know will drive high impact outcomes based on the goals and specific vision behind that brief. So if you start with a really robust strategy, you dig into personas, even micro personas, messaging, formats, all of the things, you're going to get a multiplier effect on the result, a multiplier effect on the level of emotion and connection that that creative has to drive whatever it is that that brand wants to deliver at the end of the day with creative.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think this is where probably the machines will not be able to replace. And so, what do you think must remain undeniably human in the stories we tell, no matter how advanced the tools become?
I love this question because it makes me think about an experience I had just a couple of days ago, actually. So I was on LinkedIn and there was a creative that had just posted, he created a post and he was challenging the marketplace with this exact question, right? Like, can creative generated with AI technology evoke emotion? And through this film that he used Gen AI tools to craft, he was showing a story about an elderly man who was having flashbacks of a childhood trauma as he was facing the fear of jumping off of a high diving board. And what this creative did was an incredible job of using AI to visualize this story, which, my personal opinion, it was indeed emotional. The story came to life because of so many factors, but as you looked at the comments in response to this post, of course, this guy got roasted. AI could never, be the emotion behind any story. What I felt got lost in the sort of roasting that ultimately ended up happening, which I wasn't totally surprised about, was that the story never would have come to life without his prompting. That level of detailed nuance, the expressions, the clenched fists on the side of the man, his sweating brow. every bit about that story came to life because of the human vision behind it. So, human in the loop will remain key in taking creative and storytelling. That difference from good to great will be critically important to have the human at the center. And I think those new and unique experiences that humans have, the stories that we share to express them in different ways so that the other person we're sharing it with can feel it too, regardless of the medium, a painting, sketch, a Gen AI video, it's all because of the humans behind it, including AI.
Yeah, very well said. And I think this is where pretty much we need to draw the line, right? And we need to understand that the technology here is to co-work with us, but not to take over the work of the human beings, right? So I think that they can augment the creativity aspect, can augment all the work that we do, but not to replace, but definitely it will replace the things that are very easily automated, those things that we as a human we don't like to do anyways, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, Michelle, you've been in this world of marketing in the tech industry for a long time. What is one book that, or is there a particular book that helps you guide you in your career?
So I actually read this recently. I was debating because there's so many good ones out there. There seem to be in this time a proliferation of authors telling great, inspiring stories. But the one that has had more of a lasting impact that I'm still thinking about today, especially in terms of how I lead, it's called The Hard Things. Hard Thing About Hard Things. Am I saying that right? The Hard Thing About Hard Things. The author is Ben Horowitz. And what I love about the book is that it doesn't sugarcoat what it means to be in the seat when decisions are tough. Remember what we talked about earlier when we mentioned pushing the creative. So when the decisions are tough, the stakes are high, there often isn't even clearly a right answer versus wrong. The honesty within the book really resonated with me and my position leading an agency in the creative space because we are navigating industry disruption, economic headwinds, the rapid acceleration of AI. And the key lesson that I took from it is that great leaders don't avoid hard decisions. Instead, we need to get better at making them with clarity, compassion, and conviction. So would highly recommend for anyone that hasn't already to give it a read.
Yeah, that's a great book. Also, on top of that book about the decision and quick decisions we need to make. I just read also recently. It's a great book. It's called Decisive from Chip and Dan Heath. I think they're brothers.
Love Chip
It's a
Heath.
it's a
Yes.
it's a great book and really gives you the right format how you really make decisions, quick decisions, accurate decisions. This is one of the thing about the being having all these great tools and great technologies, and you as a human being, you're able to augment your greatness because I truly believe that we all are geniuses, and we just need to discover what is our genius, and work with that. And I think there's a lot of great things can come up when we are learning from each other. And this is one of the great platforms that we do with Bold Talks. And obviously, this is a short format conversation show. I would like to ask this as a last question, Michelle. What does a word bold mean to you?
Bold means thinking big. Bold means not being afraid to take risks. And bold means being open to the idea that the impossible can be possible.
That impossible can be possible. Actually, I love that because if you take the I am and you just separate them, it really means like I am possible. So we are all possible. So truly love that. Michelle, so great seeing you. Hope you're enjoying the summer and looking forward to seeing you hopefully in New York City in October. Until then, take care, be great, and be bold always. Bye bye.
Thank you, Epi. Bye bye.